Time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace, former Ottawa Senator Jason York, and Sean Simpson.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York and Sean Simpson as we welcome you into Season 3 and inside the Canadian Tire Centre. We were just laughing as they saw the opening for the first time. They didn't see that they knew that there was going to be a goal from Yorkie, not the fight. And of course, Simmer's punch up in P.S. Danny.
Oh my God.
Boys, welcome into the show in Season 3.
Simmer, I love it. Just the blockers to the head.
I always say nobody has any idea who that person is fighting, but if you say that goalie in the brawl, people always end up remembering that. That is the singular highlight of my hockey career right there. Yeah. That's a summary of everything that was magical for whatever the heck that was. Yeah.
I do want to actually, someday I do want to sit down and have a chat about this whole punch up in P.S. Danny, but that's for another day. We got too much stuff to discuss today. Lots going on. We are expected to get Shane Pinto, perhaps some other players, and some other people with the organization going to join us throughout the show. I didn't mention to the two guys that we might be here for a couple hours. So
we're not staying here for 2 hours. I got tea time later.
I got the nerd reports ready to go. So the chat is there. I'll get to it as best I can. It's different for us. We've never done a live show, so we'll see never done a live in-person show like this. So we'll see how it goes.
Could be the first of many.
Or the last one.
We've got big plans. I mean, we want to go to my porch in the springtime by the fireplace, Wally. I got big plans. For us.
I'm excited because I won't have to pay to rent. You won't charge me to go there.
No.
Okay. Good.
No.
I gotta say, for the people can't see the whole thing. Hey, this is high. This is big time stuff here. As we look out at the lighting, the producer.
We
got our
looking good.
Got our man Alex here behind the scenes.
Yeah. Spared no expense. I want to say thank you to obviously the Ottawa Senators for letting us in here. It is a bit weird, I will say, to be back in the building for the first time. That being said, there's lots of stuff going on today. The reason why we're here is that the Sens are bringing in the media today. They're showing them all the new renovations they've done to the building, which includes new coaches' rooms, new workout facility area, all that stuff downstairs. It's still going on, if I'm not mistaken. Also, there are new menu items. I am seeing if we can get the two guys to sample some of the food menu items that are going to be on the menu this year.
Could help out.
I did say, could we possibly drop a little extra sriracha in Simmer's meal if that happens to show up? So there's lots that they're going to make some announcements. I know, and we'll get to those later in the show. Also, they're going to announce certain theme nights they're going to have going on. Anyway, lots going on. So we will get to all that. But first, gentlemen, we haven't spoken in a while. Nick Cousins has signed since we last spoke. So I'm curious to get your thoughts, and then B, listen, he's a fourth line center, if you will, or whatever it is. I know he's not the top six guy, but he certainly still brings an element of nastiness and someone you don't want to have on your team or you don't want to play against.
I thought we were going to start off with the birdhouse video we did. That was so good. Like that thing went viral. We're going right to Cousins Simmer.
The nerd report's already off.
Like, come on. I got to give you some props. That was outstanding work. Anybody that saw Wally's artistic side with the Wally's house and the getting the bird feeder and
talk about a place to do live shows. That's set up right there.
Right?
Just sit back.
Hey, Simmer.
Tranquility of Wally's backyard.
So good. But no, all joking aside, we knew this was going to happen. Like Steve Stais was looking to fill out that bottom six, and on the shopping list, like I think it's a great move, Simmer. Mm-hmm. You get a guy, and here's the thing with the Ottawa Senators. They're too easy to play against last year. Yeah. Way too easy to play against. So you bring in a guy that everybody hates playing against in Cousins. He's one of those guys that'll hit you late. He'll yap. He'll chirp. You know he's on the ice. It's the old saying, you hate playing against him, but you love having him on your team. I think it's a great signing. Another guy, Simmer, with cup experience, which, hey, that stuff matters in a dressing room. Yeah. It really, really matters. So I think it's a great move, fellas. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. Really also, guys, when you look down the middle, one of the things is you look for the club to advance. The realization of between Stutz, Lapinto, if it's Norris, which my gut tells me, no indication officially that he'll end up being a centerman, guys. That's still a very young group. It's nice to have that experience. You've got Drew there that can take face-offs, come in. And in the case of Cousins, it's funny, and I'll say this in a positive way, if the thing that you're debating or arguing about is your sixth defenseman and who's going to be on your fourth line, guys, you're in a pretty good spot. And it didn't make sense to bring in, I'm not a PTO guy for what Ottawa has, get things set right away. You want to get off to a good start. and pretty much if healthy, and let's knock on wood there for that, Wally, that's what you're hoping with this group is, hey, get as many reps as a group as possible, and pretty clear what the lineup looks like right now as far as a depth chart.
Yeah. And look now, if you look at that potential fourth line, what it could be, Wally. You got Gregor, who they signed, who plays with some speed, plays with some tenacity, gets on pucks. So right there, you've upgraded. Because last year, we talked about this last year on the show. Ottawa was too slow, way too slow. So you get some speed. You got McEwen with some toughness. And you got Cousin, who can also skate. Like, he's not that old. So I just think it makes them much tougher to play against, more prickly. It's not just Brady who has to do that kind of stuff. Now they're insulated. Now they're, even Perron, for an older guy, he's got some bite. Like, we know that he's got some bite. That's for sure.
Well,
you need that. You need that in today's game.
I don't know where the list came from. I apologize, but there was a list about most punchable faces in the NHL.
Yeah, he's right up.
And so Perron, Kachuk, and Nick Cousins were all on it. So it depends on how you look at it. But I have a question, because Simmer being in management, Yorkie being a player. Here's the question: Nick Cousins does have a reputation of
punchable faces.
Oh no, but like of being an ass or a pest on the ice, of making questionable hits and all that. I'm just curious: is it okay when he's on your team and not okay when he's on your, like? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you don't want to play against him, but
it's great. It's great when you have that. The worst thing you want to be in a team is a team that everybody says, yeah, that team likes to cut deals. You pull up to a face-off and you get a guy coming up. He's like, hey, how you doing today? It's like the first baseman in baseball. He's sitting there chatting it up with the guy. You don't want to be that team. So I think Ottawa took some huge steps in not being this team. I used to say this to the kids I used to coach and junior guys. When you get to the rink, you can be a nice guy, but the moment you walk in that dressing room and go on the ice, you take the nice guy, and he stays in the closet. You now have to be a prick.
Yeah, and also I think forever this club, guys, has been searching for a fourth line with a bit of identity. Yeah. And part of that is the mix as far as the depth chart and being healthy. But now you're kind of look at this and you can see the method to the madness of, you want a forecheck, you want contact. Now the fine line, because let's also go through, this isn't just the Ottawa Senators, guys, this is over on the National Hockey League. There aren't many fighters anymore. And the one thing you don't want is just all of a sudden come in and you got a bunch of guys running around that don't want to drop the gloves, and then Brady Tkachuk is the one that's stepping up for his teammates. So a bit of a fine line here, and curious to see how Coach Green ends up approaching that, just to make sure, hey, good hard hockey, playoff hockey, but you don't need guys taking bad penalties. You don't need guys stirring it up all the time and not necessarily be willing to drop the gloves.
I think one note should be is that fourth line isn't cemented, obviously. There's a couple of players who are knocking on the door to play here, right? Zach Ostapchuk's another one, right? There's a few guys, Angus Crookshank, that would possibly, these guys certainly allow you the insurance to play them, and maybe not every night, but to allow them in and out of the line.
Yeah, and like, I haven't even talked about, as far as shift disturbers go, we can't
shift disturbers.
We can't forget about old slop shot Ridley Gregg.
Right?
Like now,
I know we totally forgot
this allows guys like that to keep doing stuff like that, and I think that's a really good thing. I played against teams like that.
Yeah.
It's so tough to play, and you talked about there's not really any fighters, so you do it with team toughness, where line after line you have somebody that out there that's a physical presence, or a guy that's in your face. So I really like how it's shaken down so far. Still won't be surprised, Simmer, if potentially you'd see another defenseman maybe shake down here come training camp or after training camp.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they approach it. I mean, you look again on the depth chart, and we got JBD in that 6th slot, end up coming in. And where is Cleven's game at? I don't have any issue with Cleven. I thought a couple of years ago when he came up, he was just fine. There is going to be growing pains, but that's a real comfort spot. But that's what affords you, a short training camp. You have the ability to look at that, see where Hamonick's at. They seem very bullish on that. But also, this is where your pro scouts are out during the preseason, can end up looking around and saying, hey, is there a guy out there that might be a bit of an upgrade? Yeah. Now, contractually, you've got 7 guys on one-way contracts outside of Cleven, so 6. So we'll see that. And back to the center ice thing. And this is one thing I'll say. The old regime did a really good job, I thought, of holding guys in Belleville, sending Formanton back to junior back in the day, making sure they developed. In the case of the Ostapchuk, could he play on the 4th line right now in the National Hockey League? Sure, he could. But in the big picture of development, what's better for him? Well, it's better for him to go down and play frontline minutes with Belleville and have a real good year, because I don't think you want him being developed just as a 4th line player. I think he's one of those kids that can move around your lineup, and if developed properly, can shift around, maybe move up to the wing. So it looks to me when signing Cousins, that's part of the organizational thought is, hey, you know what? Let's get this kid down to Belleville to start with.
Remember, Simmer, we had David Bell on the show last year, the coach down there. And I don't know if you remember this, Wally. And we asked him straight out, I go, what do you think about Stopjack? And he's like, this guy's an NHL player.
Yeah.
He's going to be a third liner. I was talking to Sean Donovan about him as well. And Donald says, people have no idea how tough this guy is, too. Like, he can throw them, too.
I think he gave a little KO to the old Remster, didn't he?
Yeah. Like, he went at it with Rempy. So it's a big, like, he's a big guy. Absolutely. We played in the minors. I played in the minors for almost 3.5 years. Did me a ton of good.
Yeah.
And it's the old Detroit Red Wings recipe, right? Overripe.
Yeah.
Overripe is never a bad thing. Hey,
Well,
it's never a bad thing.
so people argue, like they're trying to list the prospect organization's prospect and rank them all. I'm like, well, wait a sec. Ottawa's prospect lists are all in Ottawa.
Yeah.
That's why they keep complaining and they say it's low. But you need to have guys start to get developed in the AHL. And I think now maybe we're going to get on that path.
I would think so.
Well, and you say that, Wally, you've graduated a lot of players as a positive, but when you also look at it, and unfortunately so far with Boucher, just based on injuries alone, you had a high pick. You had the pick going up for DeBrincat, the pick for Chychrun, and for the most part, Ottawa's hit on those first-round picks. Well, you take that out of your system, or guys that be graduating in Belleville right now, well, that's different. And, again, we'll see how things go for as far as this past draft as those kids go back to junior, go to college, and go to Europe. But you're absolutely right. It's just playing the long game, drafting guys, developing them properly, and that feels like what Ottawa's going to be doing.
One thing I should point out is I skipped right over it at the beginning, and I apologize. We want to wish and welcome Sean Simpson to the show full time.
Yeah.
I just you'd been here for so long, I totally just forgot to say hey.
It's like a piece of furniture.
But we're happy to add you.
Sweater with 24.
Yeah.
And, I got to be honest with you guys. I have not been back here. I was thinking about a Wally in about 1.5 years, and there is something different. It's an older building. It is in the middle of nowhere, but it's a beautiful day, and there is no doubt. First of all, I'm thrilled to be here. But anytime the page turns, if you've been around hockey, Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah.
It was tryouts. It was training camp. It's the Sens now, and there's a lot to be excited about. And obviously, I'm thrilled to be here.
I got here in 12 minutes today from Westboro.
Hey, listen.
I don't know what people are talking about. It's the easiest drive in NHL.
I live in Stittsville. I love it. Right out, like I don't ever want it to go downtown. I can tell you that right now.
Well, that's going to be a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while.
Are they like?
Yeah, it's going to be. Well, you got to think. It's like, let's just say they decided, like, hey, we're doing this. You still got to, land's contaminated down there. You got to do something with the land. You got to, that's easy to do. But then the building, permits, all that.
Well,
like
it's the NCC.
And you still got, like, don't forget this. This late rail's got to get fixed too.
Yeah.
So
that'll
welcome now to our political part of the show.
First, a workable rail system or the arena downtown.
I still don't think it's going to LeBreton.
Really?
To this,
Okay.
I will argue that it's going to end up being somewhere else in this city.
I'm going to put my money on Bayview Yards.
Okay. I think it's a great spot. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but we'll see. It all depends. Like, there's so many other things going on, but that's what I think. But who knows?
Simmer, you did talk about the feeling around the building. There is a definite feeling around this building. As we come in here, you can feel. We spoke to Mike Yao, who just informally came up and had a chat with us. He senses it too. There's just the general excitement, and all the players. Well, not all the players. There's a majority of players who are now all out skating, working out here. All that stuff, right? Like there was the time, and we said this to Mike. There was the DeBrincat signing, and we thought, like, hey, the Giroux made it a little more exciting. But this is a legit feeling of an organization headed now in the right direction.
Yeah, Simmer.
Well, no, and just being honest and covering the team, hey, it was not pretty for a lot of years. I mean, it just was not. And having worked in Yorkie, and well, Brent, you've covered it. You know what other organizations are like, and just all the stuff off the ice of bringing Sterleader back, bringing in Ian Mendez, everything that they're doing, and they talked about being classy, they talked about being well run. Yeah, it's just completely night and day for anybody that walks in here and just understands. Now, you still have to win hockey games. And that's one thing I'll say from a business perspective is everything they're doing has been right, and that's awesome. But this team badly needs to get off to a good start and win some hockey games and really kind of get that, really get the snowball going here.
So what's the honeymoon period? Is it 20 games or is it less than 20 games?
Oh, I'd be quite honest with you. If the first 10 games are off to a bit of a slow start, I think there starts to become that panic in the market. Now, organizationally, how do they end up handling it? But I just think for the fan base, it just ends up becoming that deja vu feeling of here we go again. And why is that? When I was in Washington, D.C., we used to get off to slow starts and we'd blame it because we got no press, we got no coverage. Everyone's talking about the Washington football team. Well, that's not the case here. You know what I mean? So there's no excuse this time. All these long off seasons, most of these guys have been here. There should be enough cohesion, Yorkie, and that's what you're praying for. Not to mention, it's actually a very, very favorable schedule for the club as well.
Really good. It's really good. I'll say this: the messaging is really good so far, and it's consistent through Steve Staios, Michael Landauer, who we had on the show, and all the players. They're all saying the same thing, and I think this has been a conscious thing they've discussed. Let's not talk about where we need to be after 10 games, where we need to be after 20 games. And that's really important. You just don't need that extra pressure on yourself. Even Greener, when we had him on, was saying the same thing. Let's come to camp. Let's put the work in. And how about this? So you just mentioned it, Wally. All the guys are already in town. Like, that's rare. When you get, when your captain comes in, like Brady Tkachuk did, it forces everybody else to come in and right away get a little head start, get the group together, get some informal skates going. They're like captain skates, like they do in college. But that's going to pay off, and then they're just going to put their work in every day, get to training camp. Travis Green's going to have a difficult training camp, like he said, and then don't get ahead of yourselves. And the biggest thing, too, we haven't even said this, guys. I can't believe this. We've been talking for 25 minutes. We haven't even mentioned the goalie.
Well, I was about to mention Linus Ullmark.
Let's be honest. And we've talked about this, I don't know, 1,000 times. 22 times last year. 22 times, Simmer. Ottawa gave up the first goal of the game on the first or second shot of the game. If you cut that in half, that's probably going to result into 10 more wins. Just that little stat right there. And I don't know. They're for me. They got a Vezina Trophy winner, and I can't see that stat not going down at least 50%, and that alone is going to help you get off to a good start, fellas.
I think this is going to sound stupid. 50 seems high. Like, I think that, or low.
I think
it should go to like 75%.
I'm like a cautious
four times maybe.
I'm like a cautious investment advisor right now. I'm not promising 10%. I'm promising 5%, and that's hey, like 10 wins is 20 points.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you. For me, it ends up bringing back feelings because I let in a lot of bad goals, and when I played, I had no idea. People talk about you could feel it in warm up. No clue. If that first one goes in, I'm deflated. Everyone's deflated. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't know what happened to Korpisalo or even with Murray. This inability to actually catch the old hockey biscuit, it was frightening to see these style of goals. And I didn't expect that with Korpisalo. With Murray right away, I sensed something was wrong. But you are back to, and thank God they ended up making the trade back in the day, the late great Brian Murray with Craig Anderson. You're back to the stability. And let's be honest, for all the ups and downs of the Ottawa Senators, where would they have been in the Craig Anderson era if they didn't have that? And by the way, I expect exactly that from Ullmark, and I expect it possibly even be better.
He's sorry, what were you going to say?
I said Craig Anderson was a complete flyer too, by the way. Yeah, they had to move Brian Elliott. And Colorado wanted to move out Craig Anderson. It was a complete gamble.
Yeah. So Ullmark's a really good athlete, fellas. And I'm a big believer. If your goaltender is a good athlete, it just brings the game up that much more. You should see this guy get hit a golf ball, boys. 340 down the middle. Just hammers it.
I know he loves golf. So is he at the Royal Ottawa with you?
No, he hasn't joined.
Oh my God! Is everybody there?
Everything revolves around.
They're going to announce a contract extension right there. Yorkie's going to announce it live on the course. But it is, and we go through this all the time. And you call the playoffs goalie or whatever you're saying used to be Yorkie back in the day.
It's a game
hey,
of goalie.
I can talk all I want about all the great moves that Bill Zito move and the way they won the Stanley Cup. Well, Bobrovsky is one of the guys that was right there for the Conn Smythe until probably late in the playoffs. Yeah. Well, why is your goaltender going to win the Conn Smythe? It's because he's seeing a lot of rubber. Yeah. There are going to be quality chances against the club, just like a lot of clubs do. Yeah. But when you look at Ullmark and the fallacy that last year, especially in Boston and in his Buffalo days, he didn't have great teams, but he had excellent numbers, and I expect exactly that. And here's a guy that came to town. Here's a guy that's got his family settled. You know when the season starts, your boys, hey, he's ready to rock and roll. There's not some big thing of coming in the middle of September and, you don't know the city. I've got to think he's going to be as comfortable as he possibly can, boys, for opening night.
And I'll clarify, for those who are all asking on Twitter, he did not buy my house. He looked at it, but he didn't buy it.
The same day, he went and bought someone
He
else's.
bought one a couple
Yeah.
streets over. So there
Now,
it is.
after you kind of go through a deal like that, and you guys are kind of buds, like, do you just get a text message, or a phone call? Or
He
Okay.
actually came through as his own agent. I didn't even know.
Okay.
But I had my daughter, because everybody has a doorbell cam right now.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's Omar.
It'd be great if you had posted the video.
Yeah, that was
Omar
good.
pushing the
Hey,
doorbell.
I saw him. I saw him the next day though at the Royal, and he was playing golf with Alfie. He told me. Yeah, he told me. Yeah, runner up.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So how's Alfie's game, by the way?
Sick, unbelievable. I think he dusted a 73 the other day. And he's a good golfer. He's so meticulous. Just hits the ball and he practices.
All right, I'm going to ask I don't want to get into this golf conversation because Shane Pinto's coming, and I know
Yeah.
the whole conversation is going to
golfer.
get sidetracked immediately. Who is the best hockey playing golfer at the Royal Ottawa? Because I know like Mark Stone's there, Eric Carlson, Alfie,
Alfie.
you, without question.
Yeah, he's the best.
I thought Carl at one point was
No.
dialing in.
No. Carl's the slowest player at the golf
Oh,
Isn't
Really?
Isn't that funny, guys, how things have changed, though? Because there was certainly, and I'll go back 30 years ago, but you did not ever want to talk about how good you were at golf, because the immediate thing is, well, Ottawa Senators should all be good
yeah.
golfers with the long
everybody
off-season.
golfs in the spring.
And I remember the first time we stayed at Doral when the Florida Panthers came in, and we had golf clubs on the plane. And it was just this crazy feeling of you almost have to win the hockey game or you're embarrassed to go on golf.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't matter anymore. People understand and recognize, hey, this is a real world. Mentally, what could be better than on an off day
So
with
good.
some nice weather,
You could.
just getting out and hitting a few shots and just enjoying yourself?
Yeah.
Yorkie, just Steve from Ottawa, curious if you would elaborate on what has Alfie said so far with his conversations with Olmark.
What he said so far with the conversation?
Yeah, what has Alfie been saying to Linus?
I think he's just been telling them how great the city is and what to expect living here. I would think for sure, this is just my opinion, he's had something to do with him coming too. Like,
Yeah.
I know he didn't have a no trade clause, but you know, when you have somebody from your own country that you trust, that you look up to, and he's telling you and you ask his opinion, that means a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody does that all the time. When you go to a new city, you'll hit up somebody you know and ask him, and it's just fortunate you got Alfie here, who's a Swede, just like Omar. So just tell him about the city.
Yeah.
He's got kids, so
Yeah.
about the schools and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and good places to live, things to do, and just what it's like living here. But I think you said this, Simmer. It's not. I've been to Sweden.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Oh,
very similar.
Yeah.
Obviously, weather patterns very similar.
Yeah.
But just the way people are here, and
Yeah.
it's that's why I think it's a good fit for him. Like
Yeah.
the Swedes, when I was here, we had Dackel, we had Arvidsson,
Johansson,
we had
Laukkanen's
obviously
Finn.
Alfie, and we had Christer Olsson. Like there was at least 5 Swedes on
Were
this
you,
team.
were
at
you
all
with
time.
Rickard Persson?
He came in at the end too.
Yeah.
So Swedes have always it's
Sell as
been
a
a great
Finn.
fit here.
And
Finn as well,
I
yeah.
still think this goes back to some of the Chris Pronger days and not wanting to play in Edmonton.
Yeah.
But this idea that players don't want to play in Canada, and you
Yeah.
had the Kachuk situation, and unfortunately the Johnny Gaudreau, how sad is that? But
Yeah,
there you
terrible.
see Draisaitl re-signing. I thought it was so refreshing for the city of Edmonton when Ekholm signed there, and they were like, we don't really like being in a warm place like Nashville. We love it. You have all the young core. Go through it, Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vancouver, Ottawa.
Nashville's pretty good.
Yeah, oh no, it is a great. No, it's a great spot. I'm not disagreeing.
I was
but-
calling his
but-
bluff on that.
yeah,
one.
but that part of Ottawa, and it is so much like Sweden, and it's also when you have a young family and you understand. I think this
It's
is one of the
great.
best cities if you're going to be raising children. So for lots of reasons, now we just sit and wait and watch and hope. And Sens fans will want to hear when the extension ends up coming in, if it does at all. My gut when somebody settles in like that. I'm just saying, hey, got a pretty good feeling here. Something's going to happen before
Yeah,
the
I
season
do
starts.
too. I do too.
One of the things that we have on the YouTube channel, which is weird for us, is you can make donations. And I just wanted to say thank you to Addy for his donation, by the way. Welcome back, boys. Please do more in-person episodes. The chemistry is amazing. Also, welcome Simmer officially. So
Thank you so much.
thank you to Addy. I know it's
Addy, the
Just-
most positive man on the internet.
in the world. Might be in the world. He's a good guy. I do hear. Oh, okay. I thought I heard people walking in. We have Shane Pinto. He's supposed to be on the way. So
I knew, and I heard he's coming up now.
So we're expecting him at any moment. So we'll get to him as quick as we can. Also, you talked a lot about Linus Olmark.
Yeah.
But that D has to play different. in front of
Well,
him. And I know we've
I'm
discussed
going
it.
to tell you guys something about defense in the NHL. Your defense are, oh, here comes Pence
Okay.
now. Got the new stash going
hang
too.
on.
Oh, nice.
Hold on. We'll bring in Shane. You can't talk to them when they're off camera. That's not how it works.
Oh, it's
Okay.
so good though.
We're going to do just 1 sec. Stand by. We're going to get to our
Anyways, I'll answer your question
Okay.
quick. A lot of times your defense, when your forwards work extremely hard and they have a little more pace and the gap's a little tighter, your defense automatically play better when you get that better back pressure and your push from your forwards. And I think the way Greener is going to coach this team, you're going to get that push on the back pressure, and it's actually going to help the D quite a bit.
Yeah, and I'm pretty confident going into a season when you look at a pair of Sanderson and Zub, we're all focused so much. Hey, I remember Detroit back in the day with Scotty Bowman. The 5th and 6th defensemen never got on the ice together.
No.
They were rotating through with Larry Murphy and Konstantinov, different things. It really, to me, comes down to that second pairing.
Yeah.
And I have the same feeling. I think a lot of it is that Shabbat has to be a better all-around player. But I think Jensen can basically be what Mathot was to Carlson.
Yep.
And if that happens and you solidify that top 4, boys, well, now you're talking a completely different ballgame.
All right. As we bring in Shane Pinto, just first, this show proudly presented by BEI, Bonisher Excavating Inc., helping you shape the Ottawa Valley. Aggregate equipment rentals, topsoil sales, custom crushing and screening, hot mix paving, all that stuff. You can get them with BEI, Heavy Civil General Contractor, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. Give them a call, 613-432-1120 or BonisherExcavating.com. Pins, welcome to the show, my friend.
Sir.
Listen, you're the first person to use our super duper, yes, and mic flag that it cost us like $700.
Well, heavy.
Well,
How much was it?
it was way overpriced. It can't be. Is it heavier than your golf clubs? Because I heard you've been playing an awful lot of golf.
Yeah, it's heavier than my driver, probably, if you think about it. These drivers are light now.
There he is.
So how's the summer?
It's been good. Do I got to hold this
Yeah.
up, or can I just?
No, you got to hold it up.
Okay, yeah, we got to get it in there. It's been good. You know, just a lot of training, a lot of golf, hanging out with friends and family. But yeah, starting to ramp back up now, and just got back from Halifax actually with Drake. Was there for 2 weeks training with him, so it's been an eventful summer, but it's just good to be back.
Is that your first time going down there to do those skates?
Yeah. I think me and Drake have been talking about it for like 3 years now, and we kind of finally got it all set up, and it was an awesome experience. It was, you know, obviously the guys he skates with are pretty legit, and just to learn from them and just see how they go day to day in the summer is I learned a lot. So
Did they feel like, well, you're one of the locals with that stash going?
I don't think I saw any stashes down there.
when did you bring that? When did that come into play?
When did I bring it up? It was like 2 months ago I started growing it. And I don't know why. My mom doesn't like it.
Okay, my son's year 2000, right?
Yeah.
My son's the same age. You got the same
Yeah,
stash.
it's like a young life crisis, I guess. I like it though. So
Like, will you shave off now and wait for Movember? Or is this just going to stay?
no,
Like,
I'm gonna see how the start of the year goes. If it goes good, I'm gonna keep it. If not, I'll shave it.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people that don't know, and on the ice with you, Sid was down there.
Yep.
Marchand was down
He's
there.
not skating right
no,
now.
Marchand was
McKinnon?
in Boston. McKinnon was there. We had Highmore. We had the Barron brothers.
Okay.
So it was a good skate.
Awesome.
They're pretty intense. Yeah, so it was kind of like camp, honestly.
A lot of battling, eh?
Yeah, they do a lot of one-on-ones, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. It's just a lot of not much skill, just all work-based, and it was fun.
I heard Dwayne was going to try and get down there for.
He was actually down there to drop off his kids for college.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't get to see him. So a couple times
People
this
know
year.
Dwayne's Sens Cairo now, so
Yeah.
he does some great work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to put in the real name so people understand.
Yeah, I'm like, who? Then I'm trying to think, who on the Sens has
Yorkie.
kids that they're dropping off for university?
Yorkie's having his own
So
conversation.
what's it like watching? Because we see the clips, but in case of Crosby in particular, that tempo, man, oh man, does he practice the way he plays or what?
Yeah, that's I think the most impressive part. He's 37 now, played 20 almost 20 years in the league, and summer skates he's going like pretty game 7. So I think that just tells all there. It's why he's been so successful, and that's the intensity he's always brought. And you got to learn from that and try to do that every single summer.
So did you guys do 3-on-3 tournaments? Because that's apparently or did they take it out this year?
We didn't do any tournaments. We just did a bunch of like.
Because he used to come
Drills and
in
stuff.
and be totally intense. Drake would say he'd be like, "Are you ready to play today?"
Yeah, no, he's pretty. Once they get on the ice, like they're super off the ice. They're great guys, but then once you get on the ice, they don't mess around.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right, I've been holding off Yorkie on the golf stuff. Did you play a lot of golf in the Maritimes? Because it's got great courses.
Yeah, we played like 4 times. Me and Drake have good battles because we're kind of close. He's better than me by like 2 strokes.
Yeah.
It depends on the day. I think at his home course, he gave me 4 just to be generous. So we've had good matches, but yeah, we played like 4 times there. I forget. Glen Arbor is one of them.
Okay. Okay.
Played there. And New Ashburn.
Okay. You didn't go down to Cabot there, did you?
No. I'm going to try to do that with actually my friends back home and my dad's friends. I think that's my next trip. I heard it's beautiful.
I haven't been, but
I heard it's sick.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So
how much are you appreciating just being back in natural routine this year?
Oh man, it's so nice. I think no stress. Just get to kind of get my game up to speed and just kind of worry about game 1. October 10th. I don't have to worry about any distractions and just get myself ready. It's so nice. I mean, it's I'm blessed and I'm just happy to be here and just ready to go.
It's funny. He said the same thing. Every guy I talked to, it seems you guys have a different mindset this year. You're not worrying about 20 games or 10 games. It's like game 1.
Yeah. That's all you could do. I think it's such a long year. I think we're starting to mature as a group. I think we've been this is my 4th year already, even though I've had a few ups and downs, but it's my 4th year coming in. And I think, you just got to take it 1 game at a time. It's a marathon. I think you can't really look too far ahead or you're going to kind of get behind the 8 ball. So you got to take it 1 game at a time, honestly. So
workout wise, everything is good. Did you change anything this summer?
I mixed in a lot of Pilates just for mobility and kind of the longevity of it. I think Brady did it a lot his last couple of years, and he said he feels great every year. So I incorporated that. And just my same trainer. Did a lot of skating with Shelly Kittles. I flew her down a few times, and I visited Ottawa in end of July for a few days just to get some work with her. So just the main kind of skating. And
that's good. You flew her in. I used to do some.
Well, she drove. She drove. I put her up in a hotel.
On the G6.
At least gas receipts.
I think she just does a good job of just.
She's awesome.
She's awesome. She's awesome. Great personality and a lot of energy. So so that was good.
I will say. So you made a lot of noise here in the summertime with all the crazy contract talks, and sure enough, how nice was it to get that thing settled early? Yeah,
it was huge. I think that was a big focus for me, just to get it done before August kind of kicked in. I think once August kicks in, people get all because I went through it last year. It gets all scrambling, and it just gets it's a distraction to the team. And I'm happy. I think when was it? Early July it got done.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't remember. But I'm just happy it got done. I didn't have to worry about it for a while. I just worry about my training and try to get ready for the start of the season.
Can you tell me about how different this roster looks and what's the thought or what's the feeling with the guys who were here from last year of seeing David Perron, Nick Cousins, Linus Ullmark, all the guys that we have added, Nick Jensen. Is there a complete different feeling?
Yeah. I mean, we've only been, I think, 2 days, but you can just feel it on the ice. It's just more of a quiet confidence, I think. A lot of these older guys bring, they've been around, they've seen it all. So, and they're great players. I think Jensen and DP were the best players on the ice today. They were playing really well. And, it's just good it's just so nice to have those guys learn a lot. I know obviously we had G last year and G this year, Hammer, but I think to add those 2 guys is so huge for us. I think it's understated how much experience they bring. And, I think it's just going to bring us a quiet confidence.
Jensen's one of those guys nobody talks about.
No one talks. He's a great player. Like I didn't even really realize how really what kind of player he was. And then, I know it's only the first 2 skates, but I think you could tell when a guy's a good player and just smart out there, good gaps, good stick, and he could skate pretty well.
Yeah.
So
moves well.
Yeah, he does. He really does. So I'm excited for it.
Was Perron trying to fight anybody?
No, he was. I think he's slowly just gonna just build it up.
Okay.
He's gonna act relaxed. I think it's gonna get going towards camp time.
Linus Ullmark.
Yeah,
I think arguably is the biggest piece of this because of being a Vezina Trophy winner. We all know you needed a goaltender. What's the feeling of having that guy in your team now?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think, especially too, he has Forsey. I think they played together a while ago, and he just seems like he's pretty comfortable already. He seems. I know he's been here for a bit now, but I didn't realize how big he was either. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
like he's like I'm looking up at him. I guess I'm not that small. But yeah, it's been good. I think it's gonna. Hopefully, we got to play good in front of him. I think that's going to be our main focus. But I think we're going to have confidence in those two guys in the pipe. So.
Have you had a chance to sit down with Coach Green and have some conversations?
Yeah, so he came to visit me, Sandy, and Brady at Worlds in Prague.
Oh, nice.
So we had lunch with him there, and then he checked in August, early August, just to kind of go through some of the stuff he wants me to get better at. So he's been good. He's been staying in contact with all the boys, and yeah, he seems like a great dude. And I know this training camp's going to be hard, but I think it's going to bring us closer as a team. Also,
Did you guys
Did
you guys find out what the skating test actually is?
Yeah, I think it's there, back, and through the red. You got to do like 5 times.
Okay.
Under 40 seconds.
A little blood test in between. They do the lactate.
Yeah, the legs are gonna feel tough. I mean,
Have you tried?
I've done like 2 reps, but like I'm gonna do 3 on Friday, and then
It's only something
I don't
you
like to
wanna do once a
overthink.
year.
Yeah, I'm
okay?
not trying to overthink it. I just want to get it done.
I'll tell you the secret. They want to see your drop off. So you got to go like
Pace yourself.
Yeah.
pace
Just
yourself.
get like
on the
I'm
first
just gonna
one.
try to get 38, 39 every rep.
I made a career of NHL testing.
Yeah, no, I just hope I don't go with Sandy or anyone like too fast, because I'm gonna want to try to keep up with
Oh,
them,
yeah,
and then I'm gonna burn myself
Yeah,
out. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna try
Good
to.
plan.
Yeah.
So in the second half of the year, you 9 goals, 27 points. I think you were 3rd on the team in scoring, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 4th, somewhere in there. 2nd on the team in shots over that period, which was I found really weird. But Brady Tkachuk at 174. You had 110, which was 2nd. Which anyway, point is, where does Shane Pinto's game now get to?
Yeah, I think I put in a lot of work this summer, just along the boards, just trying to protect pucks. And I think that's such a big thing nowadays. I think if you watch the playoffs, everything's protecting pucks below the dots, creating those kind of winning your one-on-one battles. And I think I worked a lot on that this summer. And then just scoring, I think that just comes with playing the right way. I mean, you got to be on a power play too. I think that helps. So we'll see. I think I'll take a big step, having this full year, having training camp, just build the confidence to play a full 82 games. I have a good feeling about it. I have a funny good feeling about it. So hopefully I'm right. Hopefully I'm right. So we'll see. I'm excited.
Well, the game, you said it's already 4 years, right?
No, it's crazy how, because I got in COVID year,
Yeah.
at the end of COVID year. So this is my 4th year coming in. Yeah. So I think every year you just kind of get more comfortable and just the confidence, and
Game slows down.
And it's just like, your abilities, and you just get stronger. Like you just get that man strength that's starting to come.
You
I
got
feel
the
like
man strength? Are they here now?
I don't know. It's close.
It's
I don't know if
close?
it's fully there. I still got some time. But no, I think the confidence comes, and you just learn so many things
Yeah,
throughout
100%.
even if it's 4 years, but I think every year I've learned a little bit more. So
Are you done changing numbers? Because
I
I keep
hope
having
so.
to make
I'm done.
graphics, and I'm
Yeah.
like, is he 12 or 57 today?
no, I mean, I think this one I really didn't have a choice. He's been 1,000 games, he's won a cup. So
Yeah.
I'm 12. I'm 12 now.
Okay.
So
Is there any gifting though? We hear about the NFL.
I don't know.
These big paychecks.
Like you didn't
He
ask
owes Zub for the cross check. He owes you for the number.
I don't
come
know.
on,
I'm not
right?
gonna. I don't. This race is pretty.
nothing
bad. No, I don't know. I think whatever he wants to do, I don't really care. I think he deserves that number. Obviously, he's played a long time in the league. He's won a cup, so that's his number, and I'm good with 12. I like 12.
Did you call him? Like how did
He
that?
texted me.
Oh, okay.
Like our equipment guys were like, "Hey, like you obviously saw who he signed." I'm like, "Yeah, the only guy who's number 57 in the league."
Are you guys the only two? Or we're the
Maybe the guy Van Riemsdyk on Washington.
Yeah.
But other than that, he texted me. He was super nice about it, and he said he'll take care of it.
Pinto, empty wrist, trending.
Show the empty wrist. Casio timepiece.
No, we'll see what happens. I'm not too worried about it.
I wanted to see. There is 13 players apparently last year.
Wow. Those are a lot of probably calls.
Yeah.
Right?
They're
That's
not regulars.
That's
Like
usually the number you
Tyler
get.
Myers.
It's usually training camp
Yeah.
number.
That was my training camp
You
number.
ditch it as soon as you can.
Yeah, Tyler Myers and Trevor
Last
Van
I
Riemsdyk.
remember it was Heinz 57
Oh,
in
yeah.
Boston
Yeah.
used to wear.
Yeah.
There's a guy,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the sauce, Heinz 57.
Yeah, the ketchup.
Yeah.
So there's a guy,
Yeah.
Steve Heinz, that used to wear 57.
That's unreal.
He played for Boston.
Anyway,
Remember that, Alex?
You can't talk again. Can't talk to people off camera.
He nodded.
Thanks, Pinner. We appreciate your stopping by.
Yeah.
We're excited to see how things are going to
Thank
play
you.
out here.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good year for the boys. I have a good feeling.
Keep
So.
smiling and keep
You
the
have
stash.
to. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm gonna keep the stash.
I'm not. I
But
can't
if I
get
go
used
on
to
a
it.
cold streak to start, I'm taking it off.
Okay, fair enough.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so weird to see. I can't even get used to it now. And you look so much
I
older.
might just for men too. Make it dark.
Yeah, I'm all in for that. That'd be
Absolutely.
fantastic.
I think maybe a little bit on the chin there.
No, I can't grow chin. No.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Just keep the cheesy stash.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
All right, thanks.
All
Anyway,
right, guys. Thank you.
Shane Pinto stopping by as we continue on with the show. We'll be back in 1 sec for this quick break. Okay, and we're back.
What a great kid.
He's just a good kid.
Yeah, I'm getting
Like-
a Pinto jersey. If I'm gonna get jersey, I get a Pinto jersey. He's infectious.
It's him and Josh Norris and even
Yeah.
Drake Batherson. They're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
Brady you put in the same group. They're just
Yeah.
really good kids.
Yeah, they're great kids.
But
I just love how he carries himself. So, I mean, he's a humble confidence in him,
Yeah.
which I really like.
Yeah, I still remember talking to him when he just came out of UND, and it just is exactly that. What you see is what you get. Now, I'll also say this. We should do an interview of everybody before the season starts, because off-season interviews are the best, right? Everyone's
Yeah.
relaxed.
Yes.
Everything's going good. And, now you start the season and you get those in-between period interviews that you had to do for years, Wally. It's just nice to sit and talk. And I look at things when it comes to team stuff, guys. I look at, when I see wedding things, I look at how many guys from a team went to someone's wedding. I know it
Yes.
sounds crazy, but I always looked at it as, okay, how connected are they as a group? And then when I hear that stuff that he's doing with Pinto, it's easy to say, maybe I'll come up and see you sometime. You took 2 weeks out of your summertime flying Shelly Kettles down or driving her down, but to work.
Soon it'll
with
be on
you-
the bus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Is there a bus connection between, or you got to go to Montreal? But all these little check marks, it just to me, and again, I know the modern day athlete is a different animal. Yorkie is the way they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But you just see a guy that's a checklist, and he took a bridge contract. And I'm assuming by design, I think he has a realization of, hey, I know I'm going to put up numbers. I think if they go to a two-line center, that would be him and Stutz. So maybe they shift Norris to the wing. But in a way, he's almost just betting on himself. And boy, does he feel confident. And I love the stash.
He's their only natural right-handed centerman.
Yep.
The rest are all lefties. So,
Yeah.
you know that. And I always look back on my own career, and everybody I talk to, ex-players, always say this. I wish I would have just carried myself with a little more swagger, a little more confidence. It helps you so much. But man, this kid looks ready for the season. I like how he says, I got a good feeling about this. So the guys are saying all the right things.
Yeah.
But remember, like we talked about this last year, not having him in the lineup, even being such a young guy as he was last year, that really hurt this club, because you saw the record when he came back, especially right away. He's just one of those personalities, and people saw it right there. When he's in the locker room, it's infectious. It brings a level of positivity to the team. So it's really good to see.
And with the craziness of last year, guys, I think there's an appreciation, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that was a shocking situation. I'm sure it was embarrassing, not to mention financially, but he came back in, he did the work, he
I agree.
recovered. He ends up getting a 2-year deal. And now, I just think you show up here and you just have a real appreciation for every day that you play in the National Hockey League.
For sure.
It's a good day.
Yeah. And anyway, we'll talk all day about Shane Pinto, but we got someone else waiting in the wings. So before we get to that, this show proudly presented to you as always by Bet365. Open an account with Bet365 today in a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, no, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code DAILY365. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. As we welcome in Drake Batherson, everybody. Drake, welcome to the show, my friend. Nice to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be back on.
So we just had Pins. He wanted, and first question, he said, you got to ask him about the golf scores.
Oh yeah.
So is there anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, so he's always been like a 6 or 7 cap.
Yeah.
And he comes down and says he's like a 1 now. And like I'm a scratch, so we go to my home course. He wants 2 aside, which I thought was crazy, but
He didn't take you down on the home course, did he?
the first round I shot 4 under to beat him by 1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he shot 1 over. And then the next round,
Wow.
he shoots even. I shoot 1 under and lose. I give him 2 aside.
Okay.
And then the third round, he shoots even again. So he was 1 over through 3 rounds and took all my money.
You give him 2 aside, and he's shooting par on your course
Yeah.
that he's never seen.
Yeah, I'm like, Pins, can we do maybe 1 aside today? He goes, no, I want 2. So I need another rematch.
Oh boy.
Are you making him a maritimer, like an honorary maritimer?
He loved it. I think he might come out all August next year. So
Yeah.
It's such a good spot.
Yeah. Best time of year down there too. Eh? The weather's just perfect.
August is the best month. Like,
Yeah.
It starts to get hot in July, and then August is barely rain, and it's unreal.
Penn said the skates were unbelievable. He said they were so good for him because he hasn't done it before.
It was great. We had a bunch of guys come in from all over this year, and I mean, the boys set the pace pretty high, obviously, with Sid, Nate, and Marshy, and then guys come in, and they're pretty eye-open how hard we're going out there. And
Yeah.
Pins took a lot of naps after the skates. We'll say that.
Is it a little intimidating at first?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Pins didn't start playing until he was 10.
We're talking. Yeah, that's right. Eh?
Yeah, and the only reason he started playing was because of Sid, so
Oh, wow.
that was
Really?
pretty cool. Yeah, went for lunch with him every day, and he opened up as the weeks went by, for sure.
That's crazy. Like in today's generation of players,
Yeah.
you starting at 10 and you make the NHL.
Yeah, I was skating at like before I was 2. And
Yeah.
he starts at 10. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
He's just a good athlete.
Yeah.
And so what was it, I guess, this summer like for you, training as usual?
yeah, it was pretty much the same. Did a few trips after the season. Went over to Ireland again for a golf trip, and then a couple weddings here and there. Shabby's wedding, and then I was pretty much home all August, which was awesome.
Are you getting tired of these long off seasons?
Yeah, no, it's obviously the first couple months is brutal, and when it's not, the weather's not even nice. So hopefully we get home a little later next year.
Did you, when you brought Pins in, were you expecting, like, what was the reason for asking him, or did he volunteer to go see you?
Yeah, no, he wanted to come summers before and it just didn't work out. And then this year he came for the last 2 weeks, and I think he had a blast. We got a pretty tight group down there. We've been skating for, probably 10 years together. So he fit right in. The boys loved him and played a bunch of golf with everyone and got to know each other. So it was great.
You didn't take him to Cape Breton. Does he have to work his way into
Yeah,
Cape?
no, he wanted to go to Cabot. I said, but it's 3 hours away. So maybe we'll squeeze that one in next year on the weekend.
All right. So the excitement level, we've asked this, and it seems like we'll ask all the guys who are returning because you've got such a change in roster, right? Of all the guys, I guess, what's the level of excitement like for you?
No, it's cool. Obviously, we're all in pretty early right now, and just getting to know the guys. Played golf with Jensen yesterday in the same group, so I got to know him very well. And coming to the rink today, I feel like I've known him for 5 years now. So, no, it's pretty cool, and got a couple team events coming up. So, just getting to know everyone and hearing their background and getting to know their families has been really awesome, and super excited to get the season going.
So Drake, who made the call for everybody to come in early? You guys have like a group text going on or something saying like let's all get in a little earlier this year. Was that something you guys as a group just said we need to do this?
Yeah, no, I feel like we usually come in 8 to 10 days before, and by the end of August, I feel like most guys are moving out. I usually come in a little later because we skate pretty much till the end of the first week of September. So, just a group text to all come in early and have some good skates. And it's nice our ice is in right now, so it's great. Everything's out of the one rink, and it's just fun. Get your workout, skate in, play a little golf with the guys. It's been a blast.
Pretty good life. What have the conversations been like with Coach Green?
Yeah, I've only seen him once so far, but pretty simple so far. I'm just asking how each other's summers was, and just getting to know all the coaches a little bit better. But I'm sure as it ramps up here closer to camp, we'll chat about the season more.
Linus Ullmark is the big name, obviously, if you will. Is there some comfort level in having a Vezina Trophy winner in goal?
Yeah, I don't think I've scored on him in 2 days. I'll say that. So he's got my number right now, and I'm trying to figure him out. But no, great guy. Everyone always says you never play with a bad Swede, and he's been awesome. Fits right in. Great goalie, and we're happy to have him.
He's not biting on the old pulling in and going up top shelf.
No, I'm trying all my moves right now. I gotta go on video tonight or something.
He's been watching you for years. He already knows.
I gotta watch his clips on YouTube tonight or something to figure him out. But
He speaking of golf, he hits a pretty good ball. Eh? Like I heard he hits it like 340.
oh really? Yeah, we're doing a team golf thing later, so I'll check it out tonight and see how he's hit it.
Nice. Yeah.
Have you not been invited? Have you played the Royal Ottawa?
I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
It seems like everybody Yorkie takes, but I haven't heard your name.
Yeah, I think Nick, Paul, and Shabby are members.
Yeah, that's right.
Over the years, I've gone out with them. Yeah.
Things feel a lot more settled this year, even from ownership to off the ice to the players to everyone being signed, everyone being healthy. Let's hope out for Josh Norris, but just a different vibe coming in this year.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, last year you came in with so many question marks about so many different things, whereas this year you come into the rink, you just know you're coming in to play hockey, and that's all anyone's talking about in the room. So it's just nice coming in with a clean plate, I think, and just focusing on just getting better.
Like, not to belabor that point, but can you explain of what that's like when you don't have all the outside noise, it seems like, and you're just here to play hockey?
Yeah, I think it's like outside of the rink too. You go back home, everyone's asking, what's going to happen with this and that, and whereas this year it's just people are just talking about the season and stuff like that. So no, it's just more outside noise, I guess, with all my buddies and all that chatting about everything. But this year, the summer was just chatting about the season and how excited everyone is.
Is there any bets between you and Sid about the season or anything?
I mean, anytime you play any of the boys, I think you're pretty fired up to play them. And Pittsburgh was my favorite team growing up, so I'm always looking to beat him, and knowing him, he hates to lose. So it'll be a couple of good games this year, I think.
I don't want to I know guys don't like to talk about, I want 50 goals and 100 points and all that stuff. I'm just like, what would be a good year for Drake Batherson?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to produce and help the team win, and I can do that when we're winning games. I think I'm doing my job. So just helping the team win on a nightly basis, more consistent this year would be great. And if I'm doing that, I think the numbers will take care of itself.
I know you've played a lot with Brady Tkachuk, but do you expect to be in a lot more scrums with having Nick Cousins, David Perron, Ridley Gregg, all these guys on the roster all the time?
Yeah, no, it'll be fun, I think. Watching all those guys over the years, obviously they like to scrum it up, and they're competitive guys out there. So I'm sure it'll happen this year, and I'm looking forward to having those guys on my team instead of playing against them.
What was the buzz when you saw the Cousins signing? Because he's got a great reputation around the league.
Yeah, no, it was great. I think G might have played with him in Philadelphia before.
Yeah.
So G knows him pretty well, and he's talked about him over the years. But no, it's great. Obviously, he's had a hell of a run the last 2 years with Florida, especially the year before when he was playing with Bennett and Tkachuk. He was great. So no, it was a great ad for us, and super excited to meet him.
Wally asked us to pinch just like about the vibe, and you come in this year, and now you've got some older guys like you mentioned Jensen, you mentioned Perron, Allmark's here, and you got Cousins. You got like 3 guys, I think, that won cups. Like, it's got to be a totally different vibe now.
Yeah, it's great. I think throughout my first 6 years, it's been mostly a younger team, where now you get some older guys with some more experienced guys who have won, know what it takes to win. So it'll be great to lean on those guys throughout the year, especially when you're going through a slump or something like that. They'll get you right out of it, I think. So I'm excited for that, and it's huge when you can add winners to your team.
100%.
I don't want to say playoffs because nobody can predict it. Is there a feeling though that there is a legit push here? Like, I don't want to make it a big deal. I just feel like now with the roster additions, you've added experience, Stanley Cup champions, Vezina, like you guys are older, you and Brady, Tim, it just feels like there's a group that is a legit contender here for a spot.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think when you come into camp, that's what you're pushing for throughout the whole season. But especially with the ads this summer, it gives you even a little more excitement coming into the year. And I think we'll just take it, game by game. And I think that's how you got to do it. So
and that's fair. Has Travis Green said what he wants from you or expects from you?
yeah, we've had a few calls over the summer with things he likes me to work on over the summer, and I think I've done that, and I'm excited to see the systems and stuff like that we're going to be playing, and hopefully I can do it to a T this year.
One step at a time, but I assume that you have a captain now that is incredibly motivated, and I'm not going to say Stanley Cup, but get into the playoffs after following and watching his brother and dragging him all over the country to go to a Game 7.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if I had a brother who won, I'd be pretty jealous too. So obviously he was probably with him when he had the cup at his house and couldn't touch or anything like that. So he's probably hoping he can do the same thing one day.
It'd be great. So with that, we appreciate you stopping by, Drake. Hopefully everything goes well. Great season ahead.
Yeah,
we're excited for you.
Yeah, thanks, Drake.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Drake Batherson, Ottawa Senators. As we continue our show here, we'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back. Pleasure to be joined now by the guy who is in charge, Cyril Leader. So good to see you again, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Great to be here. Thanks, guys.
lots going on. New renovations, all kinds of stuff. Let's get to this building and what you've done over the summer to make things life easier for fans and for the players.
Yeah, I mean, it's we know we're going to be here for a while, so we need to keep investing in the property here in the building. So a lot of work going on right now. Sort of the fan-facing things that fans will see when they come. There's going to be new walk-through concessions, so they seem to be the highest volume now. They're faster. It's what fans are looking for. So 2 new walk-through concessions this year. Upgrades to the club CIBC. We call it a club, but it's not really a club any longer. It's open to the general public. So I made a few changes there. Most notably we're opening up the wall to the concourse so folks can just walk in, make it more inviting. Added some TVs there. We've expanded some of our premium areas. So the Brook Street Lounge is going to have a feature bar area and more seats. Club Bell, which probably are one of our hotter areas in the building. We've added 10 more loges in that space.
Oh, wow.
Loges has become one of the hot products, and we don't have enough of them, so we added 10 more. And some cosmetic changes that people won't notice, but we've changed the last 2 original elevators in the building. We're adding a brand new roof on the upper roof. So that's probably the largest of all the work I just mentioned. That's the biggest ticket item. So lots of stuff going on, and a few other things on the game entertainment side that I don't want to give away at this point. But
Sure.
you'll see
Fair
some
enough.
changes on opening night that I think will make it. I think fans, when they get here this year, will say, geez, there's a lot of changes and all of them good.
Is that because you're here forever? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know how long we'll be here, but it's longer than 5 years probably. So.
All anybody ever asks me about is their hot water. I don't know the infatuation.
Should we just skip over that one?
There is hot water, but it's not at every washroom, which is the problem.
Yeah. Well, join Club Bell because it's in there.
There's lots of hot water there.
Yeah.
There's hot water at the arena level. There's hot water on different.
Everybody always says about the rink it's old, but still, like when you guys built this thing, the sight lines are good in
Beautiful.
every single seat. I don't think there's a bad seat.
Yeah, the sight lines are great in this building. Partially because we started with an open field, so there's no constraints from the architectural side, and the architects did a really good job. And we were improving on an existing building, so the Palace at Auburn Hills, which is now demolished, but at the time we thought was state of the art in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And the same architects, and we just said, look, do what you did there, just improve it a little bit and make the sight lines as perfect as you can make them for hockey.
Yeah. So it was the Palace you modeled after.
It was a Palace, yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
We saw 28 buildings, just from arenas to stadiums to ballparks, and I think the Palace was the 27th, and we were not convinced that any of them were good models until we walked into the Palace and walked that center court, looked up and go, wow, this is spectacular, and we knew at that time that we wanted something along that line.
Okay.
So then curious, because now you're obviously looking down the road. Have you looked at modeling after anything in particular now?
Yes, we have. The state-of-the-art buildings now would be Edmonton, Seattle, Detroit, and the New York Islanders. And I think the one that kind of fits us the best is Detroit. It's a nice building. It's got all the amenities. It's compact. It's not over the top. With some of the spaces are not too big, but there's lots of space for circulation. It's got all the amenities you'd want in a new arena. It's easy to load in, load out for shows. So it's one of the biggest improvements now in new state-of-the-art arenas is just their loading areas and making it easy for trucks to get in and out and allow the shows to get in, do a show in Ottawa on a Wednesday and get to Toronto for a Thursday and still make the show.
Fair enough. I'll get to ticket sales because I know that's a big part and getting fans back in this building. Is winning the elixir for all of that, or is there what's the challenge for you guys, I guess?
Challenge pretty simple. We tell our guys, you got to build your plan. You got to go out there as if you're 0-82 on the season. So winning shouldn't be part of how you run your operation and how you're selling your tickets. We got to put on a good game, a good entertainment, give good value, make it easy for people to get in and out of the building. We've got to do all those things. You hope that we're going to win our share of games, and maybe this year win more than our share of games. It's kind of the hope. and winning, kind of smooths over the warts. So, we actually bifurcate our post-game surveys into wins and losses now because, after a win,
Right.
the parking was great, the food was awesome, the game entertainment, even the music gets good ratings after we win.
Cotton Eye Joe.
But if you lose, it's everything's off. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But no, we get it. We haven't made the playoffs in 7 years. I just was up watching Steve Staios talk to the media, and clearly we're laser focused on being a better team and being competitive and winning games. Like we got to do that. We got to make that next step.
And because you were here when it was the heyday, and you watched this. I know you're at the beginning as well, but what it's like in this building when it's full and the playoffs are rocking. And I'm just how driven are you to see that again?
Absolutely driven. Like this building is entirely different when it's absolutely full than if it's 300 short of capacity. Like there's something that happens when you get there. You guys know playoff hockey there's nothing like it. It's you called it the elixir. That is an elixir. Like if you can, we came to just expect playoff hockey, through the late 90s and early 2000s, but it wasn't an easy process. We finished dead last 4 years in a row in the league. We had I think 11 years where our point total went up every year. So it was a steady rise to 2003 when we won the President's Trophy, and I hope we're on that path now. I expect we'll have more points than we did last year, significantly more, and hopefully we'll be a competitive team right in the hunt there in April.
It was a very active off season. Did that help move the financial needle?
It doesn't. No, I mean I think unless you're signing a Sidney Crosby or some big star, you're not going to get an inbound rush of people calling, buying season seats. I think what we really need to do and we focus on is just making that connection one-to-one. It's face-to-face. We call it hand-to-hand combat. You need to be out there meeting with people, making your presentations. We've got a good team doing that now, and we've sold more tickets than we did at this point last year. Our individual game tickets are going on sale on the 5th and 6th of September. So it's coming up. So,
it's interesting you mentioned about getting out there because for a long time, just players weren't out in the invisible, if you will. Is there a conscious effort to start to get more into the market where you see guys around? I just feel like there was a long time where no one knew anything about the players because it just wasn't available. Yeah,
there is. Like I think we're better in a lot of areas in our operation right now. Community engagement, marketing, and using the players as part of that is one of those areas that I think we're a lot better than say we were 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. That's part with the ownership change, partly with personnel change. We've got some really good people now, and in those spots that that have the mandate, have been given a mandate to get out there and be active in the community. And the community is Ottawa and Gatineau, so we need to be more present in Gatineau. We're holding an inter-squad game and a couple practices there on September 21st. So that's new. I don't think we've ever done that before.
No.
If we have, it was a long time ago.
Last I can remember, you went to Pembroke and you've gone to Cornwall. I never remember you going over to Gatineau.
No,
It's huge.
Yeah. It's right there in our backyard. So yes, so it's
like
long overdue.
Right. The point is, it's not lip service. Like you guys keep saying Gatineau, but you're not. It's just not lip service.
No. We've got a full-on plan and a full court press there to be relevant in Gatineau and with the Francophone fans. So it's we've hired staff. So we've brought on Sylvain Saint Laurent recently.
The mayor of Gatineau.
Yes, self-proclaimed. But there's throughout our organization the last year we've added bilingual team members. So and we continue to do that. We've been at a bunch of different events and we're members in different organizations in Gatineau now, and we'll continue to do that.
You're a hockey fan, and we've always talked about day one. I'm curious what you think about the roster that they brought in this year. Also, you've added some character, if you will, in David Perron, Nick Cousins, a little bit of shift disturbers, we like to call them.
Yeah.
Are you excited to see what this is?
I am excited about that. I'm particularly excited when Toronto comes to town, but I like that. I mean, I'm a hockey fan, as you said. Brent. I appreciate the finer elements of the game, and you know, you can just look at last year's Stanley Cup champion. You know, they had their share of shift disturbers on that team. They were not a fun team to play against. You didn't really like playing against those guys. And you know, Dave Poulin says it all the time when he's with the Flyers and their kind of their heyday when they were the toughest team, the Broad Street Bullies, and like they were 34-4-4 one year at home. People just did not want to go into Philadelphia, and I think that's where we'd like to be here in Ottawa. Is just like you look at that game on the calendar and you say,
Yeah.
I don't really want to play that game. So
I might be taking my optional for that game.
it might be the Ottawa flu. It would be nice. Yeah.
And finally, it's been roughly a year, if you will. What's it like for you to be back and running this ship again?
It's been great. I really enjoying it. You know, lots of fans come up to me and have said, "Good to have you back," and you know that obviously makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I've got a great team here. Working with Michael and the other group of owners have been really good people. You know, they've got the mandate, given us a mandate to do the right things, build a brand, be relevant in the community. So I think you're going to see a better team on the ice. As I said, every year we're going to do some good things in the community, and we're going to bring a lot of, I think, good events and some great hockey and great entertainment to the building here.
Appreciate it. Yorkie was just talking about Loverboy before the show. If you could bring in some old classics for him into the building.
Loverboy, yeah, okay, Glass Tiger,
Yes,
and,
yes.
April Wine. All right.
Yeah, some band should
Maybe a triple
not
header.
tour, right? That's a platinum blonde.
Oh, love Platinum Blonde.
All right.
Anyways, so I appreciate your time.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
See ya.
See you later. CEO of the Ottawa Senators. We'll be right back after this.
There's a.
Yep.
It's not a.
All right. Welcome back, by the way. We are into hour 2, as I told you, of our marathon broadcasting. We'll be here all night taking all your questions.
No, we won't.
It's
lunchtime.
The Yorkie's going to do the rest of the show
Simmer and I are
from
going-
his car.
So,
Get the headset
Right?
up.
We're doing it wireless.
so one thing I didn't think of, and I should have, when I built in the breaks so we could move guests in and out.
Yes.
I didn't expect you two to have conversations with them during the breaks,
Well, that's
like
what makes-
long conversations.
So it makes it organic.
People are sitting at home going, "When's this thing going to be over?"
Oh,
So anyway, these two are suddenly Drake and them are discussing fishing stories, and anyway.
Well, I had Drake's dad as a player, so those are all the things with me that make me feel. You think, where did time go? You
Oh,
know,
God,
Drake
yeah.
played for us in Portland, Maine, under Barry Trotz, won the Calder Cup there. But I try to get my head around on the kids are coming and
Yep.
Yeah.
watching the Nylander boys skate back in the day in Washington and just absolutely incredible.
Well, it's funny because you guys brought up Denny VL, and so you're having a conversation. Because Denny VL, for those who don't know, Drake Brathwaite's uncle, and Yorkie's old D partner.
Yep.
So then the stories were started in on those, and I'm like, oh my God, we're never going to get out of this.
Danny
Yeah.
used to pick me up in junior when I was playing in Hamilton. He drove a little red Chevy Chevette. And Denny's head is massive, so he'd be driving in a Chevette, and he's got the big jaw, and it's sticking out, and he'd have the Steve Miller brand just blasting in there.
Nice.
And then he'd pick me up. There'd be no talking. We go to practice, Bill LaForge practice. As you know, those went somewhere. They weren't very fun.
No.
People were talking about Travis Green having
Yeah.
tough training
No.
camps.
Yeah.
Go to a Bill LaForge training camp.
Yeah.
Where you got to do hand-to-hand combat
Oh
in a
my
circle,
God. Yeah.
surrounded by
No.
your teammates.
Really?
And if you this is not a lie, fellas. At training camp, you got to go and wrestle a guy. Your teammates surround you in a circle, and then it was like if you win, you fight the next guy, and then the last guy standing had to fight the coach.
Oh my God.
You had to go one-on-one
Yeah.
with the coach.
Stuff that would not be legal now. I think back to when he was in Vancouver, meaning Bill LaForge, and he had them practicing line changes, all crazy. And Denny's the pride of the Sioux, so playing there, everybody loved him, and just a super
Denny,
tough
the
guy.
dancing bear.
Exactly, just a good man.
Yeah. Anyway, so
good guy, one of my favorites.
well, then I just organize him to come on the show. I've been.
He'll come on anytime.
Okay, let's get him on the show.
Let's get back from holidays. Come on now.
Also, I want to, before we go, I just want to remind tomorrow, I'm actually reminding these two, is our golf day.
Oh, yeah.
With Michael and Eric, who are the winners. We're going to be at Rideau View. We're teeing off. I wrangled in some gifts.
Yeah,
So
nice.
Fanatics has reached out. They're going to help us out. They've donated some stuff. Of course, Valaket Source for Sports and Barhaven Source for Sports. They've come through with some stuff. BEI is also, so good gifts for the players.
Nice.
Not so much for you two. But
Supposed to be gorgeous day knockout.
Yeah,
too, so that's
so-
what you're always looking at when you got those types of things planned, and just a gorgeous course. And yeah, it'd be lots of fun to hang out with the boys.
yeah,
Great setup there.
we will live tweet it.
Yeah. Big thanks to Steve for setting it up for us.
Yes. So Steve Duckett in Rideau View. It's beautiful. We don't talk enough about it, so I just wanted to give a little shout out to Rideau View tomorrow. Okay. I don't know if a couple other guys are coming or not, so we will get. We're good. Listen, you didn't organize the
Yorkie,
nerd
go
report.
lock the door.
Come on, we had the Drake on, we had Pinto on, we had Sarah. Don't be greedy.
I want people to have the best show. This is the first show. I want it to go
I
well.
know, but there's more coming. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, I don't know if
don't.
we may have spent the budget.
It's like you don't want to do it all right away. Save a couple. Keep a couple of wild cards in the back pocket.
It is interesting having Sarah Leader on here, because I could imagine that he, maybe thought, and I know he had a relationship with Anlauer, but when he left, that was really the tipping point of all the craziness of what went on with the Ottawa Senators.
It's ridiculous.
And the understanding of he was the last soldier, the glue guy that was actually keeping it somewhat together. And that was such a shame at the time. So it's great to see him back. And
So I put that whole deal together at LeBreton Flats.
Oh,
and then
exactly.
to
God,
treat him the way they did. Ridiculous.
No,
Ridiculous.
And that's also, I really had to be curious, because I did ask him off the air, and I know it was mentioned last week about having a September 20th pretty much hard deadline. And that, to me, and I know, Wally, you're of the thought, I just thought that this made too much sense. And the NCC is finally open for business, and the Ottawa Senators, and I went firsthand moving from Landover, Maryland to downtown DC, which was a war zone. I used to get out of my car, look in the hole in the ground, then get back in. Unfortunately, my car was still there. But how it reshaped that part of DC, and you've been anywhere, if you go to Detroit, you guys have been to all the buildings. Yeah. It is
Detroit,
incredible.
Overnight change. That whole area now.
With the ballpark as well, Wally. It's a game changer for the city. And I just hope, and I always look at it, if you look big picture and you have the vision and the understanding, and this doesn't have to be one of these things. I'm not talking about payouts and people, the rich owners. Hey, this could be a good business deal for everybody involved, and just better for the city itself.
You think, since no one's going down, it'd be a nice way to get people back downtown.
Well, and you see so many apartment buildings going up, and like I said, I just saw that firsthand with Abe Poland use his own money to build a building in DC, guys, and I'm just praying, and it's crazy. What is that? 6 years ago now that they had the approval?
Let's build a light rail and not have everybody go downtown.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Moving off light rail again.
Do not blame the current mayor.
No, it's not his fault. He's trying to fix it.
Is he? Never mind. You're not sucking me into this.
Yes,
You're not sucking me in. I'm not going for this. I totally don't know where we're going at this point because of it. So yeah, I was hoping that Ian Mendes was going to stop by, because there's a couple of notes I was expecting him to give us, but they were coming up some theme nights on it, and I was waiting to see if those were going to get released. Lots of good things, but you talk about Cyril Leader. so that we've seen obviously leaders of businesses come and go and whatever, but it just, and rarely do you ever go back to the job that you were once doing.
Yeah.
And he did it for so long.
Yeah.
But it always just felt right for like Cyril Leader to be back leading the Ottawa Senate. At least it was for me. I always thought that was just such a normal thing. And every ownership group that wanted to buy the Sens, or at least was inquired, always called Cyril Leader.
Well, I was at the press conference when Michael Andlar was here and did that original press conference. Not the one when you give Mendez the hug, by the way.
No, that's not the one.
Okay, no hug for Mendez.
That was right over here, actually.
But I remember, and he said this was really, he made a point of it, that this was a really important, one of the first steps he did was naming Cyril. And yeah, no, absolutely. It was the right thing to do, felt right. No, you look at, Cyril Leader lives and breathes the Ottawa Senators. This is his baby. Like, he was there at the beginning, Simmer. So it was the right thing to do, and great to see him back.
And not that Ottawa is a closed-off city at all, but I think we all know that it is a small city of 1 million people. And when you bring in people from the outside, all of those connections that you've got to get to know, and more than anything, just understanding. You know, this isn't Toronto, this isn't Montreal from a corporate standpoint, and really to understand the animal that is the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, I mean, you put that in place. You brought in Ian as far as changing the communications, along with Sly. I just kind of go the checklist on people are like, well, what do you think Stayout's going to be like? Hey, Ryan Bonus has got good experience. I think the world of Dave Poulin. He's well supported. You got an owner that obviously loves hockey, and just a lot of boxes are being checked. Now, I will say this, and I love all the stuff that they're doing with the building, and they're doing all that, but boy, oh boy, do they need to get off a good start. And it does remind me of my Caps days, guys, a little bit different where, and I know it's a Canadian market, and I know they've created a pretty good buzz, but they got to win some hockey games to really get people, because I still think, as crazy as it is, and Sly even mentioned it, there's still some pessimism, right? You know what I mean? I've been hurt too many times. They really, to get the financial engine rolling again, there's pressure, and no one will say it, and the coaches and the players. But hey, man, you got to get off to a good start here. You got to get rolling.
I would say there's cautious optimism. That's what I would say. Like people, it's like the girl that's been burned before. Can I trust this guy again?
Oh no, for sure.
No, I just think people want to see, and like winning takes care of a lot of things, boys. And Cyril said it's been 7 years since this team's been in the playoffs, and I just think people want to see, number one, they just want to see this team get off to a good start. Get off to a good start, and not bury yourself in the first 2 months of the season knowing that you mathematically can't make the playoffs.
All right, but you two, I'm going to go back to your experience. It's 7 new guys possibly in the lineup. There's a new head coach, new coaching system, all of that stuff. Is it really, are we going to harp on the start here, or because of all the change? Do they need a little adjustment period?
No, they'll be fine. The standard's going to be set from day one. I really believe this team is much more prepared. We talked about this off the ice with ownership. Like they flew. You heard Drake here. He's like, I'm getting asked by my buddies, what's going on? Pinto's with this is going on. Has the owner bought the team yet? Is this guy getting fired? What's going on? Is Dorian getting fired? Like there was so much shit going on last year. This team was set up to fail last year. So all that's eliminated. Every single player has given us the same boring answer. One step at a time, one game. But that's a good attitude.
But that's okay.
It's a good attitude.
We had someone from Hockey Ops stop by, and I just
it's a great attitude.
He's like, we just feel like it's professional now.
Professional.
And as far as the changes, Wally, when you go through it, I'll start in goal. What's the adjustment for a goaltender? Well, there's really nothing. Of course, you want the team to be in front of them. When you look at the main group, sure, they've added in numbers, but you've got a guy like Perron coming in, probably going to be third line. He's been around the National Hockey League forever. I think the biggest adjustment is what's going to happen for the team, because you look at the top 6, really hasn't been touched. And as far as the defense, it's really Jensen, if that's the partner, getting comfortable with Thomas Chabot. And then it's a transition for Clevin. And where's JBD game is at? That's what I'm kind of looking at. But I don't look at it that all of a sudden this is like an expansion team, Wally, where, you really, as much as you've added, the majority of the core is still here and has been here for a long time. And none of these guys have played any playoff hockey. So I don't expect, and I sure hope that nobody looks at it from that standpoint and thinks, well, we need a little time. No, that's what training camp's for. And all of a sudden, when that puck drops on opening night, be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. The other thing this team's now got the benefit of having, you got guys that can slide up and down in your lineup. So in your forward group, like Amadio can slide up and down. He can go fourth line. He can go third line. You know what? You need to get a guy going. Let's throw him on the second line to send the guy a message.
Ridley Gregg.
Same thing with David Pearl. Same thing with Ridley Gregg. There's just nothing is really like Stutzla where he's going to be, where Brady's going to be, where Drew's going to be. But you have a lot of guys that it's nice to have a little bit of competitiveness throughout your lineup, knowing, hey, this guy's right there, so I need to make sure I'm going because, like before, it was this is our top six. Our top six is playing, and there's really no competition.
Yeah.
Now there is.
And I'll say probably we haven't even touched on it, and I just hope it's good news. But, because of the way this has been slotted, and I agree with you, I like to focus most times on the top 9. Looks like the fourth line will have an identity. But the key of that is that Josh Norris being healthy, that's one thing organizationally. They're not really in a spot for the top 6 for sure, but even in the top 9 where anybody else can slide up in the lineup. So that right there is such a key. And I just think for him mentally and physically, you hope for good news. You wish him all the luck. Now, if the question becomes, is he a center or a winger? But that little piece, and I'll call that, that one block there, I think that is such a huge factor as to whether or not they're going to be competitive enough from a depth standpoint, is having a healthy Norris.
Yeah.
He's still a second line center to me.
I tell you, a young man we had on earlier, the guy's going to be. I'm not betting against Shane Pinto this year.
No, I do.
He has come in, and this kid looks like he is ready to go from day one.
Yeah, I'd just be curious to see what Coach Green thinks as far as where Norris. And I think there's this thought, and I can understand. Not that I'd ever pretend to know what playing center in the National Hockey League is like, boys. I can understand wanting to have, say, a Giroux if you're putting Norris in the middle to all of a sudden take faceoffs. But this idea or thought that being on the wing, that all of a sudden in a contact sport that you're somehow going to be protected. Hey, that is not the way the National Hockey League works. I mean, when did he get hurt last time? Did he run into the net? You can't avoid it. And I just hope for him mentally, it'd be just so awesome to see him have a regular training camp and be ready to go.
Well, for people that like everybody always says it's your centers playing down low and your wingers up high. No, like in the NHL, you play F1, F2, F3. So who's ever the first man back on the back check, he's playing center until you can switch off. Who's ever first on the forecheck is there, and then you adjust. It's your center takes the faceoffs, and on breakouts, he's usually in the middle of the ice supporting your wingers. But things change in a hurry. So to your point, Josh Norris ran into the net and hurt himself. So there's a lot of different stuff that go on during a shift. And look at Mark Stone, for example. The guy plays right wing, but he plays like a center. Yeah. Like it's just it's there's a lot more to it than people think.
Yeah, and I also say as you go through the lineup from the Stutzlas and Chucks and a lot of other guys, even Batherson, they're going to have to be more accountable defensively. And that's one of the instincts that I think Norris and Pinto really have. I remember watching Norris play in Belleville, and of course Pinto when he was at University of North Dakota. It's very natural for them. Well, I think it's up to Timmy Stutz and even Brady Chuck to some extent to take that next step, not be this idea about this magical system that's going to come in. And the fact that Jensen and Ullmark are going to come, they really have to be. And I'm assuming this coach is going to make them very accountable. But that's going to be real, real important from top to bottom for this lineup.
We were expected to get some food brought over, but apparently all the other media ate it. So
that's shocker.
We apparently I have to treat you guys to lunch. So because of that, we're gonna wrap up. We appreciate everybody joining us. Great to have everybody along for the ride. And so we will look forward to doing this again, hopefully, maybe soon. Thank you to Drake Batherson, Shane Pinto, and Cyril Leader for stopping by on our Season 3, Episode 1 edition of Coming In Hot. See you, everybody.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.